Hi everyone, very good evening, and welcome to today's live stream in which we will continue building the Python project which we started yesterday. So yesterday we started to build a game in Python, which is the Bricks Breaker game, and that's what we built yesterday. We were able to create a ball like moving around in a basic UI. We will continue building this project. We will try to move this paddle, and we will try to bounce back this ball on the paddle, and we'll try to make some bricks and so on. So we will basically continue building our project. So I hope the project is fun, and I expect like more live audience from now. Slowly we will build a lot of projects, and we will have good audience. So yep. So let's continue building. Today I will like quickly summarize what we built yesterday. Then we will like build upon whatever we built. And also we are like again like there is no prerequisite for this project. Like you don't need to know like advanced level of programming language. Like we are leveraging the knowledge of large language models like GPT and BARD, and we are taking code from there. We are not even using web right now. Like we will ask GPT only if there is some error in the code. Like you just need some basic elementary language like Python programming knowledge, because like if there is some very basic error, you can correct it and you don't waste time. That's all. Some basic. Okay. So I'll just wait for 2 minutes for like more people to join, since the scheduled time of start of this session was 5 p.m. So I'll just wait for 2-3 minutes, and then we will continue with the code of this project. Okay, do share the stream with everyone you know, so that like we will have more live audience and more people get benefited with the project. Also, you can use this project directly in your resume. You can like I will give you the code at the end, and like it's better that if you can make a few modifications in the code, because like it's not like helpful if you create a generic project which is already on the web. Okay, somebody might search it. So it's like you can make slight modifications and you can build on top of it. Like you can build a similar game using the same UI and so on and so forth, right? So try like coming up with intelligent ideas. Try to tweak with the constants. Try to tweak with the code, and try to build something on your own. Like slightly, it might be different from what we are building. Okay, let's wait for 2 more minutes. We will start at 5 4. Let's say at like 5 4 p.m. sharp. Okay. Do share the link of this session with like more people, and then like yeah, we will start. Cool. So let's query GPT again, and So it's better that, like, so yesterday also I told you the same thing. Like, the more context you can give these type of platforms, the better your project will be, right? And the more it will be able to help you. So we will give let's like just give the context to the GPT that we are back in the session. Consider that as your educator as well, right? Consider LLM as your educator as well. That will help you. So what we are going to do is, like, we will let ChatGPT know. He Cool. Um, the code till now works. We can move forward. Let's try to move the paddle with keyboard mappings, I should say, because that's the next step that we want. Great. Let's proceed by adding keyboard controls to move the paddle left or right. We will use the matplotlib event handling mechanism to capture keyboard events and update the paddle's position accordingly. Here's how you do that. So there are a few changes which ChatGPT has made in this code. So firstly, we will connect to the runtime, and instead of writing the code in the same cell, we will create a different cell and try to paste the code there first. And if it works, we will use the code, right? Because, like, let's have a copy of the code that is like working fine. So okay, cool. Just give me 1 second. Yep. Cool. So let's try to run this code. We are connected to a runtime. I guess I'm not live. There is some issue. Yeah, we are live. Cool. So let's copy this code. There is a copy code button here itself. And let's try to run it. And then we will see like what the changes are. So some changes which we can see are like this was already there. Paddle width, ball radius, ball velocity, X and Y. It is the ball initial velocity. Then update function, I actually see that the update function is like more or less the same. And this is the new function which we have added, function to handle keyboard events. So on key, if you have left key or right key, we will like move the paddle. That's what they are trying to do here. And yep, let's try to run this. It takes some time, like it takes some time for, like, it's an expensive call. It takes some time for matplotlib to generate this event. Okay, so I cannot see the paddle moving actually, like because like since it's a video playing, there is some issue, like it's like the matplotlib window is like not okay, so like it's not taking the key events here itself. So what if I, like, firstly I'll try to debug it myself. Let's try to yep. Okay, let's tell GPT that like this is the issue that we are facing. Okay, the matplotlib is not recognizing the key events. I'm seeing a video running with ball moving in loop. So we cannot like move the paddle. It seems that the event handling mechanism for key presses might not work as expected with certain environments, including online notebook interfaces like Google Collab. If you're trying to interact with the animation and receive key events as expected, I recommend trying to use a local Python environment such as Anaconda, Jupyter Notebook on your computer. or any IDE that supports interactive plots and event handling. This will likely provide a more responsive and interactive experience for testing and developing the game. If running the code locally is not an option, consider exploring other interactive Python libraries for environments that might be better support real-time animations for event handling. For example, Pygame. If you're still interested in proceeding with constraints on of an online environment, we can continue building the game, but do note that some interactive features might not work. Okay, so let's first. So okay, we will switch to some other ID if this doesn't work. That's okay. Like that is always an option for us. But firstly, let's try to build on Google Collab itself. Okay, like since it's an online ID, it has some restrictions. You cannot render matplotlib plots correctly here. Okay, so that's what GPT is telling us. So it's okay. Like let's first try to use some other event handling library. If that doesn't work, we will switch to our own like compiler to make this work, right? So I will just tell the same thing to GPT. We want to use the Google Collab online IDE only. Please write code using some other library. So we are telling GPT like we want to use this only. So let's see like what it's trying to do now is to achieve interactivity and keyboard input with Collab. We can use Google.Collab libraries output and register callback function to create interactive widgets and handle keyboard events. Okay, let's see if it works. So like now there are few issues. Like now the initial animation is set to update 0 and display fix. So there are a few changes in the code. So I'm not sure it will work or not, but yeah, let's see. Okay, it's like yeah, the entire code like doesn't work because like see the animation even it's not working now. The animation is not working. We are just seeing a static screen. It will again probably say ki like try not use collab. And like to continue experimenting collab constraints, you might try running different parts of the game logic in separate code cells and see if it helps. For instance, you can code run animation loop and updating logic in one cell and paddle control event handling in other cell. Remember that due to nature of the collab environment, achieving okay. So like it seems key like it's very it will be very really difficult to achieve the thing which we're trying to do in collab environment. So instead, like, why not use a local version of something? Like, let's try to build something using like local compiler. So okay, so just okay, we can switch. So I will even ask for a specific instruction. So let's assume that you don't have anything on your laptop. Okay. So like let's ask GPT to give us this detailed instruction like how to install a local ID on your machine and what specific instructions we need to follow to make the exact same code work which we have created so far. So that our effort, whatever effort we did yesterday and like today doesn't get wasted. So we can switch to a local ID. We don't have a local let's say ID installed in the laptop. Suggest step-by-step instructions to use Jupyter notebook, let's say, on the Mac machine. Install it and run the same code. Sure. So what they're trying to say is like, sure, I'll be happy to guide you through the process of installing Jupyter Notebook on your Mac and running the same code. Step 1, install in Anaconda, download the Anaconda distribution for Mac OS. Once the download is complete, open the downloaded file and follow on the on-screen instructions to install Anaconda. Then it says launch the Jupyter Notebook, open the terminal on your Mac You can find like in the terminal type Jupyter Notebook and try center. The command launches Jupyter Notebook as your default browser. Create a new notebook and copy and run the same code. That's what it is trying to say. So let's try doing this. So yeah, Ankur is saying Python का full course free में YouTube पे होगी. Ankur, we are not sure yet. We are figuring out what courses will be helpful for students, and like we will get like more live audience. So a few people are saying कि we should do an AI/ML course, and we have enough audience for Python course as well. Sanko already has started a Python course. You can try watching that in the on the Unacademy Grow channel, and very soon like we might launch an AI/ML course on YouTube as well. So no promises yet, but yeah, we have plans in like stream to uh, do all of this. Okay, cool. So let's see. Like I'll just download Mac for, like Anaconda for Mac. So just give me 2 minutes. Like you can also set up using the same instructions given here. So Anaconda will like download in like about 2 minutes. So let's download it. Anaconda like will give you packages for Python. Like you can install everything on Anaconda and like run it on your local machine. So let's say I tell it I don't. So like it's very beautiful, right? You don't have to go to web and write every query and see different links. So I don't have Jupyter. Let's say uh, give instructions to install that as well. Meanwhile, like Anaconda is getting installed. So even if we are able to run this locally, like it will be a win, right, for us. So yep. Okay. So now the steps are much more like clear. It's like detailed. So we will try to run all this. Okay, just give me 1 minute to run like all the commands given. So our Anaconda is installed. Meanwhile, like this is installing, I will give you like instruction how to do that as well. I will give you updates. Meanwhile, everything is getting set it up. Meanwhile, I am also trying to get Visual Studio Code ready, like and see like if everything works on VS Code instead. Okay, let us tell GPT that we have VS Code. Okay, so I will try to use these instructions on VS Code now. That will be better. So just give me 1 minute. I'll just bring my VS Code here. Hmm. Okay, so we have VS Code ready. I'll try to use that now. Okay, this is better. So I have created a new folder called game, and I'm using this folder now. Let's use the instructions which are given here. So we have already installed it. Install the Python extension inside. Like you can go to extensions tab, and that's what it is saying. And you can search for Python. So it's an extension by Microsoft. We will use it. It's like it is already installed on my machine. You can install it from here. So these are instructions like even to create your own project in Python. So like it's very important and a part of the project because you need to know how to set up your ID and get your code working. So like we are following step-by-step instructions. We are installing Python on VS Code. We will use this like Python to run our code, and also we will like create virtual environments and so on and so forth. That's why I prefer working on like online IDs because they are like it's much more like easier to do experiments there. Setting up your own local machine but helps because if you're creating a large project you cannot rely on like online IDs forever, right? So it sometimes it's better, and like we can see like specifically when you're creating UI related projects, it's like better like if you have your own ID set up. So we are like Python installed. Now you need to open a folder. We already have opened a folder. I have named the folder game, like it's a simple name. Now create a virtual environment. It's optional but recommended. So you can go to terminal and create a new terminal. So let's see. Terminal, new terminal. Okay, we have a new terminal here. So let's say navigate to your project folder. We are already in our project folder. So let's create a virtual environment called when we. So it says Python command not found. Let's use Python 3. So we are actually creating a virtual environment here. It is like right now creating a virtual environment. It has already created it. So here we can see it. There is a folder called when we now. It is the virtual environment that we have created using this command. So to activate this virtual environment on Mac OS, you can use source activate. So we will activate this. Now we are using this virtual environment. Okay. And now you need to install the required packages. So we have virtual environment activated. You can install like matplotlib, numpy, and IPY widgets. So IPY widgets are like for actually like Jupyter notebooks. Like all the Jupyter notebooks are like IPY extension. So we are installing matplotlib, numpy, and like so as to use Jupyter notebooks. Great. So everything related to like these three libraries is getting installed on this virtual environment. You can see here. If you go on this virtual environment and if you go to include, uh, so like if you explore this, you will see different packages which are getting installed, right? So yep, it will like install everything which you are saying, and you can that then directly use NumPy, Matplotlib, and everything. So it will take about 2 minutes to install everything. See, like it's like you need to use the knowledge of LLMs. Like that's what the point is here. It's like the previously like it's a game changer. Like you need to search web and like go to 10 like different links and find out the exact answer. But instead you can query Bard or ChatGPT and get your answer like in a clear format, step by step instructions. So it's better. Okay, so I guess it's done. Now we can open, and so what it says is in VS Code open the Python code file. So we will create a code file. Let's say game.py, and let's copy the code that we had. So let's copy the exact code that we had before, which we know is running, right? So I'll just take up this entire code which is running and paste it here. But here we don't have a main function. So let's ask GPT the same thing. We will just tell we have this code which is running. Will pasting, it will automatically add the main function. That's what I assume. That they will pasting this code directly in a file, in a Python file work. Yes, you can save the code as a py extension, and that's what they are saying. Like you can run it directly. Okay, let's try running it. So where did it run? Okay, it's running currently. But we don't see a matplotlib plot. Okay, or it might be rendering. Let's give it a 1 minute, since even in uh like uh like the online ID like Collab, it took some time to render. So I will give it like 1 or 2 minutes. If it doesn't work, like we will ask GPT like what to do. Okay, so the code like we'll just say the code is running, but no plot is visible. Let us check if yeah, we don't have any plots. Let's ask this query. So it will be great when if even if we are like able to like display it using our local like ID, because like then we know ki we have all the basic setup on our local environment done, and we can directly write code here. Okay. Don't worry, I will give you the entire project. Like I'm confident we'll be able to build it. And yeah, cool. So what GPT is saying, if you're running the code as a standalone Python script in terminal or command prompt, you are not seeing the plot. It's possible that will show the display backend using matplotlib. Try adding the following lines of the code at the beginning of the script. Explicitly set the display backend to aggregate AGG, which is not interactive backend that generates image files. So here is the modified code with this lines. So okay. So till here we have a modified code. It will like set the backend explicitly. So let's run this again. Trying the modified script, it should now generate an image file containing the animation. You can find the generated image file in the same directory where your script is located. The file will likely be named something like matplotlib out.png. We cannot find a file in the same directory, but yeah. Please note that running interactive animations and in a terminal or command prompt might still have limitations. If you are looking for an interactive experience, it's recommended to dedicated environment like Jupyter Notebook or a local IDE that supports real-time rendering. Okay, like this is bad. Now we are using like a local ID and like it's still saying ki okay. But actually we can create a Jupyter Notebook even in like VS Code. So let's do that. Can we create a Jupyter Notebook on VS Code itself? So let's ask this query. Yes. So what it says is like we can use an extension. Like I knew this thing. So click on extensions and find Jupyter. It might be already installed on my machine. Let's check. So we are searching Jupyter. It is already installed. Now, like in the same directory, let's create a notebook. So I'll again create a notebook with the same name, game.ipynb. That's the extension for a notebook. Inside the new notebook, like you can create code cells and like interact with the notebook. Okay. Remember that Jupyter notebooks allow for interactive execution and visualization, which can be particularly useful when developing games. Jupyter Notebook integration in VS Code provides a familiar environment for running Jupyter Notebooks and is a great option. Okay, that's great. So let's like try to run the same code again. Okay, we need to install a kernel for this, which is a Jupyter kernel. So that's what the instruction was. So we have installed it. Okay. So it is running, like it's trying to run, like install the kernel and try to run the cell. Okay, let's again try to run the cell. It's trying to connect to the kernel, which is the virtual environment, and it is activating it right now. So let's wait for like 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, it's now running, like the code is running. That is also displaying the time, like how much time it has taken till now. Cool, but we still cannot see a visualization. Okay, so let's tell GPT we are running the code, the game code in a notebook cell on VS Code. It is running, but no visualizations show up. Okay, so if you're running the game code in a Jupyter Notebook, cell in a VS Code and visualization, it could be following reasons. Here are the steps you can do to check for errors. Okay, there are no errors. Ensure correct backend. The default backend is matplotlib is set to inline, which means the plot. Okay, we have the plot here now actually. Okay, it took some time to render it, so it might be like that issue, but it is working. Okay, but we have not yet added like the left right wala thing yet. So we should add that. Like we have not added. Okay, let's tell GPT this thing. The animation is showing up. We used this code. Can you add the code to move the paddle on key events? That will work in VS Code locally. So we have given instructions. So we will again try to add some code like to like the whatever code we have and try to sure. So I can help you to add the code to map the paddle using key events to capture keyboard input a Jupyter netbook cell. You will use IPython.display modules display function. And in this code, we have added left and right arrow key using IPY widgets to move the paddle where the buttons are clicked on left arrow clicked and on right arrow clicked functions and call to update the paddle's position and refresh the display. Okay. So this is like a completely new code which we can see. Okay, let's try running it. Let's firstly pause this animation and let's try to run the code which GPT has generated in a new cell. Okay, because like that's a complicated code. Like let's see what the function new things which GPT has added. Like this remains same. Ball velocity we already know. Paddle X or initial position we already know. The update function is same. On left arrow clicked we have some function. On right arrow clicked we have some function. Paddle X and paddle Y, like have we added that? Okay, yes we have. And we have an update paddle function, okay, which will set x coordinate use like to paddle x. Then we have the same code animation and like display. Then we have create arrow buttons, left button and right button. And okay, let's see, will it work? So it will take around previously it took around 1 minute to generate this animation. Okay, let's see how much time it takes now. So we'll have to wait for 1 more minute. But the only concern I have right now is like we still don't have code for keyboard events. Right now we have left button and right button. But even if that works for paddle control, let's see. Like we will use that for now. Later we will add keyboard events. Okay, so the UI is getting displayed, but still we don't have the left or right paddles. So we cannot see the paddles. Like where are they getting displayed? Display arrow buttons. Okay, we don't have any paddle buttons right now. Okay. So let us know GPT key. There are left and right buttons to move the paddle. Okay. IPY widgets is the library which it is claiming to use. Yes, and we are using these widgets to create a left and right button, but like we don't have them yet. Okay, that's okay. Let's try to debug it. We still see the same animation as before. The left and right buttons are not visible. It seems that the widget display might not work as expected in the current environment. Widgets are not being displayed. You can try running a code in Jupyter instead of VS Code interface. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, so it is suggesting that you use a Jupyter notebook directly instead of the VS Code interface. Okay, let me try opening it if we have it. Okay, so let me like meanwhile like I'm setting up Matplotlib like Jupyter Notebook. Meanwhile, let us ask ki instead of Matplotlib, can we use something else which will work in VS Code? Other UI library instead of Matplotlib animations that will work better in VS Code, and we will get a window to play in. Okay, that's a better query because like there are a lot of libraries. Like I'm not sure why like Jupyter is still stuck with Matplotlib. That's a curse with context as well. Sometimes like when you're working, it's like bad. Like it's it will try to just use the same library it was doing before, and it will be difficult, right? So like it's better sometimes to switch the game library completely, and like see this time it's suggesting to use pygame. We anyways have this code, we will be using it. Meanwhile, let's try using like the new library pygame. Okay, so we still are in a virtual environment. So okay, let's install pygame in the virtual environment before running this code, and I'll just copy this code and paste it here. So what is this code? Import pygame, import random, initialize pygame. So we have width and height, and we paddle width and paddle height, ball radius, paddle speed, ball speed, white and green. Set up the display, so we have a screen and like the caption is bricks baker, and then the paddle like is create the paddle, and then the ball is created, there's the game loop. So running is true, so like clock, there is a clock, so while the clock like while running is true. So for event like in like if you quit the game, running becomes false. Then we move the paddle. Okay, if we hit left or right, paddle moves, and there is an initial speed of ball like which we have set here, ball speed 4 and -4. So ball will keep moving in that direction. and if ball collides in y direction, like like we change the y speed. If the ball collides in the left direction, we change the x speed. If it collides on the top, we uh, change the y speed. Then we like clear the screen and like fill again, like draw the paddle and bob. Like this is like simple stuff. So let's try running this code. Okay, Pygame seems to be a much easier library to run like code in. Uh, let's see if we get a window to play the game. Hello from Pygame community. Okay, we have the game here. So here actually like the paddle is moving and the ball goes down. So we need to enforce some restrictions, okay? So the game seems to be working fine. But the problem is paddle is going all the way to left and right, and also the ball is going all the way to down. So there is no restriction on ball if it hits the bottom corner or the paddle. Okay. So if I like just run it again, let's see if I run this code again. So let's forget about Jupyter Notebook for now and use Pygame. Okay, it seems to be much easier a library to create visualizations, and also like this is good. We can run it locally, right? So let's run the code again. And I just want to see like how the game is set up right now. Okay, so it's like going on, and the reflections from the okay, actually the reflections from the bottom of the I would say the paddle is working fine. But if the ball crosses the paddle, it is just keep going down, and the game is not getting over, which is okay actually. Like we can add game over instructions later, but for now this paddle thing looks actually good to me, right? The paddle thing like is completely fine, and the reflections on top, bottom, and left are correct. So like this code actually works, I would say. Right, so it's a win for us. Like paddle movements, reflection on the paddle, and reflections on top and bottom are working fine. And I am able to use my fingers and the keyboard events to move the paddle, which is good. So like so far so good. Like instead of a matplotlib animation, we are using Pygame, which is a much more simpler library to run the code. Okay. So, okay, I guess it's a win for us. Like we are able to run the code locally, and I think like we should stop for today here. Like we have the paddle moving. Now the next instructions are to create bricks and break the bricks if the ball hits the bricks. And there are few more UI changes like checking the scores, like displaying the score, having a game over type of UI, and like all things like that. And I guess like those things will be very simple using Pygame. We will use this library from tomorrow and try to build on top of it. Okay, cool. So for today, I guess like we will like just call it a day, and I will schedule like one more session for the same game, Bricks Breaker game, and we will try creating it. Again, write in the comment section after the video ends if you want this piece of code and if you want to run it locally. I will share it with you. Like I'll upload it on GitHub, and like you can just download it and play around with it. Okay, cool. ठीक है. Thanks a lot for joining the session today. Like the session and share it with more people, and we will meet again very soon with the third part of this video. Cool. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.